Experts say it's unclear what he or Congress could do to influence how internet companies distribute online news. Trump has talked about expanding libel laws, but is it possible? For more, we're joined by Matt Schettenhelm of Bloomberg Intelligence. So, Matt, is that possible?
Well, it's possible. Congress has the power to impose pretty serious regulations on internet companies if it would like to. What isn't possible right now is President Trump, I think, taking unilateral action to go after the companies themselves. Any serious action is going to take action from Congress. It's going to be controversial. It would likely lead to litigation as well under the First Amendment.
How much damage could Trump do by continuing to say these things? His campaign texted messages to supporters reiterating that the fake news cycle is in full swing. They're going to continue to beat this drum.
They are, and perhaps it helps the president politically. I think for the internet companies, the real threat is that for 20 years, Congress has taken a very hands-off approach to these companies, believing that the best approach is for the government to stay out of the way. And what we've seen in recent months is really an erosion of that. And now the idea of regulation, serious regulation, is really on the table. That's different from saying that we're actually likely to get there, that this Congress will get there. But we're going to see a number of legislative proposals in the months ahead to regulate these companies in ways we haven't seen before.
So what kind of ways that we haven't seen before? I mean, we're seeing Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey preparing to testify before Congress next week. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg going earlier this year was completely unprecedented. What direction could Congress take?
So you're going to see a number of things on the table. Some will be aimed at election interference, and you've seen already the introduction of what's known as the Honest Ads Act, requiring transparency in advertising in social media. You're likely to see more legislation introduced about privacy protections, of really requiring the consent of subscribers before social media can use your information, your data, giving you more control over it, not the company the ability to profit from it. And the more extreme case, perhaps, is what Donald Trump was referring to yesterday, really treating social media companies as common carriers, as utilities, something that his old advisor Steve Bannon had pushed, and really requiring equal treatment, non-discrimination from these companies. That would be very aggressive, and ironically, it conflicts with the First Amendment views of some of the judges that President Trump is appointing to the court. I think some of those more extreme measures would have a real tough time getting through.
What's the most likely scenario then?
To me, I think you're going to hear a lot of noise about this in the coming months. I don't believe the most disruptive sort of scenarios that really disrupt these companies' business models are likely. I think the most likely scenario is probably a regime focused on transparency. We know very little about how these companies' algorithms work. And I think Congress, the most likely scenario to gain a consensus is focused on shining more light on that process. Tell us how you operate. Let researchers see that, and let's go from there.